Today's the day of flat Earth. I still don't understand why is it so fascinating that some people believe the Earth is flat and there's a conspiracy to keep everyone else in the world, in the dark about their Earth. Makes no sense to me. But I will say this: even though these people believe the Earth is flat, I don't have a problem with them. Them not hurt nobody. It's not like they're attacking anybody. They're not forcing their beliefs down anybody's throats. It's just they believe the Earth is flat, and that's that. It brings about so many questions. Like, if there is a conspiracy to keep everyone in the dark about the Earth being flat, why? What's the end goal to that? Like it's not like the general population could build rockets and go outside the borders of the ice wall. Apparently, there's an ice wall. You need a lot of money to go outside, to go into outer space. Why though? Why lie? That's the big thing right there. Like, what's the conspiracy, or what's the benefit in the conspiracy of keeping everybody in the dark about the Earth being flat? That's the big question for me. But anyways, I watched a video from I don't even know how he pronounced it. Like, the name of this channel is LAHWF. I don't know. Is it Laugh? Lawif? I don't know. But basically, this guy had a conversation with a flat earther, somebody who believes the Earth is flat. He seems like an okay dude. He doesn't really seem too off. But I will say this: he looks like a recovering drug addict. So I just want to say again, flat earthers are okay by me. It causes too many problems. They're not that big of a deal. At most, they would just cause people to have conversations about if the Earth is flat or round, or if it's a sphere or what have you. But what I find funny is that these people who believe the Earth is flat, they seem to have a higher chance of believing in other conspiracies. There's a bike. Thank you, sir. Thanks. I really needed that today. That's exactly what I needed. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. So the people that believe in flat Earth tend to believe in other conspiracy theories. But what's funny about this dude is that when the interviewer asked him, does he believe in outer space or aliens, he was like, no. That was the one that was strange to me. Out of all of the conspiracy theories that you believe, you don't believe in aliens or outer space. No, not outer space. Other galaxies. Yeah, he doesn't believe in aliens or other galaxies. But he does believe the moon landing was false. He also believed that the Mars isn't actually a planet. It's just a place near Canada or something like that. You see how weird this gets? So Mars is somewhere in Canada. Where in Canada actually looks similar to Mars? I should have researched that, but it never occurred to me. Like, where in Canada has completely, red dirt, a red dry environment like Mars? But as I say, he did say one thing that made sense. He said he said a few things that made sense. Like, not about flat Earth, but as a person, he believes that religion should be kept separate from science. And I'm like, okay, all right, that makes sense. That makes sense. So this guy isn't completely gone, I was thinking if I should say his name or I shouldn't, but let me see here. Let me check his name. His name is Ryan? Yeah, I believe it's Ryan. Oh, well, I might have gotten the name wrong. Oh, well. But there are many questions that I have about the flat Earth. So, if the Earth is flat, why are the other celestial bodies round? The moon round, the sun round, Mars is in Canada, but like Venus, Jupiter, they're round. So why are they round but the Earth is flat? You see, that part doesn't really work out to me. And the Earth would have a crescent. Like, I've thought about this before. The Earth casts a crescent shadow on the moon, right? It's a curved shadow. Why isn't it at some point just like a rectangular, line on the moon? But then again, the sun, this is so strange. Because with the flat Earth believers, they believe that Earth is at the center of the universe or our galaxy, and everything else revolves around it. Very strange, very strange. But all right, they do bring up one. He did bring up one good point in the fact that just because you are told something your whole life doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. So it could entirely be a whole hoax. Everybody has been tricked by the government. You see, there's so many. Like when I try to play devil's advocate, something pops up in my head and said, "No, that don't really make sense." Because if all of the space agencies around the world were trying to keep you in the dark about the Earth being flat, that's a really hard thing to do, because not all space agencies are going to want to work together because they're in different countries. You have apparently there's 71. That's what I remember someone saying, that there are 71 space agencies all around the world. And all 71 of these space agencies are willing to work together in the rules. That don't really make sense. That doesn't bode well for common sense to me. Because the Russian and Chinese space agency, in the past, they wouldn't want to work with the American space agency because they've always been in competition. You see, there's not a good connection there. And I'll also have a link to these I'll have a link to the Wikipedia page that displays all of the space agencies, so that way you can see just how many there are. I'll just go through a few. For the United States, you have the Air Force Space Command. In Belarus, you have the Belarus Space Agency. In Costa Rica, you have the Central American Association for Aeronautics and Space. You have a Mexican space agencies. You have an Algerian space agency. You have a Japanese space agency, a German space agency, Dutch. It's like I'm scrolling down here. There's a fat list of them, right? Let's see here. There's another thing. Well, not a lot of them have astronauts, but quite a few of them have space satellites. A lot of them have space. Almost all of them have space satellites, right? Wouldn't at least let's say five. At least five of them would have images of the Earth being flat, or at least of the ice wall. Segue into the ice wall. So apparently, Antarctica is not just one specific continent, but it goes around the entire circumference of the Earth. Circumference, right? The entire circumference of the Earth. And and there's a wall around it, right? So I'm like, why has no one seen this wall at the edge of the Earth, right? Especially nowadays where everybody has drones and smartphones and all that and planes. If you're in a plane, you would be high enough to see that big wall and take a picture of it. So why is it that nobody has been able to take a picture of that ice wall, right? The ice wall seems to be in place just to cover up the fact that if the world was flat, then we would have run out of water eons ago, a long time ago. But because the ice wall is there, it keeps water, inside the flat Earth. So that's why it's there in the theory of flat Earth. But it doesn't really make logical sense, because if it's that big of a wall, we should be able to see it, right? Man, there's so many. You see, there are too many holes in this that a normal person like me can just poke holes in it. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a genius. I'm not super smart or anything. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe everybody has been tricked, as I've said before. You have to think about that, which is, it's kind of weird. You have so many people who are interested in science and space. Wouldn't somebody have found concrete proof of this? Because everybody that's any of the flat earthers that come out with any sort of evidence, it don't seem plausible. It seem like it don't make sense. But if you really wanted to prove the Earth was flat, why don't you just get a drone? Well, I think you have two ways to really test if the Earth is flat nowadays, thanks to the wonders of technology. What you could do is get a drone and then fly it all the way up in the air. Let it keep recording or taking pictures, and then you simply look at the footage once it comes back down. And if you can see the ice wall or you see the curvature of the Earth, then that would prove the Earth is flat / round. That would I would just end it right there. But I don't think it would, because these guys are, even if he did come with proof saying that the earth is round, like even if you show them the experiment right there with the drone, they still might not believe, because you spent all this time believing that the earth is flat and trying to convince everybody else that the earth is flat. You don't really want to lose face at this point in the argument, like for 5-10 years you've been arguing that earth's flat. I know somebody gives you proof with an experiment that you were there to witness. I don't think that they would. Pride is a hell of a thing. Pride is a bitch. Cause even I succumb to it consistently. Now, the second way to prove that Earth is flat, quite possibly the most fun way, is to get, thanks to YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all of these live streaming, video streaming websites and tools. What you could do is just get a camera, get a GoPro, and then get a plane or two and just fly it around the world. Just fly in one direction and see if you end up on the other side. You must, people have spent money on way worse things. People have spent money on things that are less significant than this. So this would be a fun experiment to just say, is it flat? Is it not? I think some rich dude like Richard Branson needs to just, put some of that money to good use and prove if the earth is flat or not. It can't hurt. It can't hurt. And it's good publicity, If Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Oprah, somebody rich, just come out and said, you know what? I'm going to put X amount of dollars into getting some planes and going out to see if the earth is actually flat. But yeah, that would be a great publicity stunt. And whether or not you prove it's flat or round, you still get the benefit of of everybody looking at you. No, he did. All right. In the same video, he brought up another point where Elon Musk said that he thinks that it's possible that we're living in a virtual reality or a computer simulation. The question that he brought up is that if Elon Musk is correct and we are living in a computer simulated environment or a computer simulated reality, then it wouldn't be hard for whatever entity that created that simulation to just make a flat earth or make a round earth for whatever simulation it was running. So I'm like, okay, if it is a simulation, then fine. It could be that. But you can still test it, using the same plane, using the same drone. But I think the drone is quite possibly the best alternative in terms of trying to prove this to a flat earther, because you can just get them right there, get the drone, fly it up, and then bring it back down, check the images. Bada boop, that's it. The problem with my idea of using a plane or a few planes or any sort of aircraft is that the flat earthers would not, they don't have a reason to believe that it's true, because if they already believe that their sphere earth is a conspiracy, then they would believe that the plane experiment and the information from that would not be, valid or true. They could just believe that's a lie too. So the only option is to just take one of them and fly a drone up, or take all of them and put them in a plane. I still think there's some validity in using that experiment, because you can just live stream it. And it's very unlikely that even if the internet goes down during the live stream, which is unlikely because you have satellites and all that shit, you can just upload the video once you're done. And once they see that the video has not been tampered with, then you're good. As I said in the beginning, if you believe the earth flat, fine. That's your thing. You're not hurting nobody. You're not causing any problems. It's still weird to me that we'll have people that believe that. But I think it's okay if you believe the earth's flat. It's good to have that sort of curiosity about the world around you, and that's, it is a level of critical thinking. I'll give it that. It is a certain level of critical thinking and not believing everything that somebody tells you. All right, fine. No problem there. You're not hurting nobody. Can keep believing what you want to believe. I'm still going to laugh at you for believing the earth is flat. Like, in all honesty, if I see somebody in my personal space or in my daily life, if I see somebody just come up to me and say, you know what, the earth's flat, I'm like, really, sir? You believe the earth flat? Like there's going to be that chuckle in my voice. There's going to be that level of, ha, you're not very smart. Like I'm going to think that. I'm just automatically gonna think that, yo. Anyways, if you guys believe in the flat Earth, tell me why. If you believe the Earth is flat, tell me why. I really want to see why people actually believe this. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to believe the Earth is flat, but why? I don't think you should believe in it though. Anyways, I'm out.